Ah, well, Bill and Barry are giving us. Sorry, Bill and Barry. No, that's the same person. Jonathan Root and Bill Barry are the Rootberry crew, as you may all know. Well, guys, I like the fact that you're giving us this, but I don't drink anything else other than Patron, only because that's the only one that I actually enjoy the actual taste of. But in general, when it comes to the actual tequila process, here's what I've actually garnered for you in regards to information for those that want to actually know how it is. Tequila is a distilled spirit that is produced only in Mexico, and only then in the region of Tequila. Juice from the heart of the agave plant is fermented and distilled twice to make tequila. The production of tequila has to be in compliance with stringent, and I do specify it stringent, although unfortunately the Mexican government being it as it is, I don't know how stringent is in regards to it, but stringent regulations put forth by the Mexican government. To make tequila, you need to start with ripe blue agave plants, which they take up to 8 or 10 years to mature. When the plants have reached their peak ripeness, the leaves are stripped off, and only the core or piña is used in the making of tequila. These cores can weigh from 40 to 80 pounds, so it's heavy, and some can weigh even more, so depending on the diameter of the piña, you end up with something that's quite big. The piñas are then taken to the distillery where they're cut up for roasting, and yes, I do specify and put in italics cut up, because if you have 40 to 80 pounds, you're not going to go into the oven small. The piñas are roasted in special furnaces, and the starches and the cores turn to sugar. Each piña takes or makes approximately 8 bottles of tequila. When you think about it, that's a lot of piña for not a lot of tequila. After baking, the piñas are shredded and put through a press. The press squeezes the juice from the shredded piña pulp, and the juices are then pressed from the shredded pulp and placed in fermentation tanks. Once the juices are in the fermentation tanks, yeast is added. And distillers have their own techniques for the adding of the yeast. From brand to brand, it varies. And at this point, the yeast, once they add it in, it begins to act upon the sugars of the roasted pulp, turning it into alcohol like pretty much all yeasts do on all fermentation processes. The juices now ferment for 30 to 48 hours with no additional processing. The fermented piña juice has about 6% alcohol content. That's within 30 to 48 hours. Potent. It's 1% higher than Canadian beer, which is 5%, which is stronger than American beer. Go figure. The fermented juice is distilled 2 or even 3 times in either customary copper stills or more up-to-date still that are made of stainless steel. The first distillation is always a rough, low-grade distillate, and the second or third run is used to purify and perfect the liquor. Ultimately, distillers want to create a product that captures the aroma of the agave and at the same time tastes as pure as possible. Alcohol content may be between 70 and 110 proof. Now, one important note here, if you've never tried blue agave syrup, it's quite sweet. In fact, 1 teaspoon of it is equivalent to about 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of white sugar. So it's quite sweet. It goes well on pretty much anything that you cook, and no, there's no alcohol, so you can't get drunk off it, but it is something that's amazing. You have either tequila blanco or oro, which is gold. Tequila blanco is silver. The gold is the best. It's also the most expensive. For example, the one that I actually enjoy is Patron. I don't buy it because I can't afford it. We're talking about a bottle about yay big, yay wide in its bottom diameter, and it has an actual cork bottle, cork plug made specifically for the bottle. And in some cases, you can get them specially made in cases that cost you an arm and a leg. But it's to be savored. It's not to be drunk swilled, wasted in such a fashion. You take it once in a while and you actually savor it. It goes well on rocks, and oh god, is it ever so good. When you actually have it Oro, it's almost $145 Canadian per bottle. For the silver, it's right now they're selling them at about $75 a bottle, but depending on the demand on the tequila, it could go up as high as 110 just for that lower grade of tequila, which is way above rot gut and swill that you can buy at cheap prices that I cannot drink it. I simply cannot. And now Oro needs to be fermented or aged in oak barrels for 2 months, additional to the process. And if it's reposado tequila or rested tequila, is I'm not sure if that's the best way of putting you the translation, but has to be aged up to a year. Tequila anejo is premium tequila and needs to be aged in oak for at least 1 year. For that type of tequila, you're going to be paying almost $200 plus per bottle. I don't know the size of the bottles because I've never seen them. There's not a lot of buyers here in Moncton, New Brunswick, so we don't see it very often. Many producers age anejo for añejo. That doesn't sound right. Añejo for many years. Añejo can go for, well, it's like anything that you have. The longer it's distilled, the higher the cost, the higher the actual sale, but the better the taste. It's considered the best tequila available and will be very expensive. I haven't looked to see how much it is, but and I'm quoting these actual guidelines, per Mexican government guidelines, all tequilas are required to age for at least 14 to 21 days. To be called a tequila, it must be made from 100% natural ingredients and be at least 38% alcohol. Most importantly, it must be made from blue agave, grown and harvested only in the Mexican states of Jalisco, Guanajuato, Michoacan, Nayarit, and Tamaulipas, which is pretty much in the northern parts of Mexico. And this is amazing. If you want to find more stuff about how tequila is made, just do Google and Yahoo searches, and I guarantee you'll find all your material. But for all of you folks that enjoy that type of liquor, well, now you know a little bit more than what Bill and Barry actually, Bill and John actually gave us as information. Thank you for your homework, guys. You're good on the ball when it comes to juggling, but I think you need to give us more details when you take the time to do these. As for flamingos being pink, it's because of the actual shrimp that they eat, and the coloring from that shrimp actually turns them pink. Lack of that type of food source will actually have flamingos not be pink. They'll be somewhat albino-ish. Anyways, have a nice one.